Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Bailiwick Academy, where we create life-changing online classes that empowers people like you to be the best version of yourself, helps you gain confidence, and turn that passion into profit. I'm Grace Parazo, owner and founder of the Bailiwick Academy. And for tonight, we have our special guest. He's an award-winning sugar artist and the owner of Magara Sweets. He's also one of our instructors here at the Bailiwick Academy, and I'm so proud to have him. Let's all welcome Marc Kevin Reyes.
Hi everyone. Hi beautiful
Hi,
people. Yan.
Marc.
How are you all doing today? Hi Ma'am Grace. How are you?
Kamusta? Kamusta, Marc?
I'm good. I'm good. Ito getting fat but still yeah, striving to be blooming and of course inspiring everyone to bloom as well. Yeah.
Ayun. Naku,
Ayun.
ano naman getting fat? Hindi naman halata. Ano ka ba?
Oh, seryoso. Actually nag-gain talaga ako ng weight this
Oo.
quarantine kasi syempre walang gym. Although yung ibang workout routines pwede naman gawin, pero iba pa din pag
Mm,
sa gym, ayun. So,
Ayan.
ayan,
Kasi dito lang tayo sa bahay.
yung pisngi ko, ang laki-laki na. Ayan, yun siya.
Yan. Carry lang yan.
Mm.
Parang ganun pa rin naman. Parang ganun pa rin nung last shoot natin.
Parang actually
Oh,
parang ano, parang mas healthy ako dun sa shoot natin before.
talaga. Kaysa
Mas
ngayon.
healthy. I mean, medyo mas rounded ako nun compared
Na,
now.
compared now. Mas rounded ka
Oo,
na.
mas rounded ako
Okay.
nun.
Okay. So, ito guys, first time natin makakasama ngayon si Marc Kevin. Marc na lang. First time
Mark na
natin siya
lang.
makasama. And I'm sure excited na kayong lahat na makilala siya. Okay? And kwento ko lang sa inyo, I'll just give you a little bit background on how I met Marc, si Marc Kevin. Yan, kasi yun nga, hindi pa nga ninyo alam to. Yung mga behind the scenes, ang alam lang ninyo is meron siyang class sa amin, pero hindi nyo alam yung mga behind the scenes, diba? So, how I met Marc Kevin. Nakilala ko siya sa Cake Fiesta Manila when
Yeah.
we had a booth. That was last year. So 2019. Yeah, 2019 last year when we had our expo sa Cake Fiesta Manila. Tapos si Marc, nandun lang siya sa kabilang booth. So yun, so parang but before ko siya nakita doon, parang fina-follow ko na siya. So alam kong magaling siya sa when it comes to sugar flowers, yon. So, fina-follow ko na siya, parang, ang galing naman nito. Parang gusto ko siyang kunin
Wow.
parang gusto ko siyang kunin as our instructor sa the Bailiwick Academy kasi wala pa nga kaming flowers na ganyan. So,
Yeah.
yun. So, when I saw you, tapos nung napadaan ka dun sa booth namin, yun, kinausap na kita, in-invite na kita. Yun, so that's how I met Marc. Tapos nun, ano ba sagot mo? Ayun, pumayag ka naman, di ba? Pumayag ka
Yeah.
naman na
As in, yes agad yung answer ko na naalala ko. Tapos excited pa nga ako na.
Oo, yun. Parehas kaming excited. So yun,
Parehas
tapos
kami excited.
nag-meeting, kung ano yung gagawin namin for his
Mm.
class. And then, yun. Tapos ngayon, meron siyang class sa amin. Ang name ng class niya is Art of Edible Flowers.
Yeah. Ayun,
Yun.
ayun guys, so if you have time, please do check my class. I know some of you are asking kasi I did release international class. The difference with the class in my daily week, actually, there's a lot of flowers. You will learn 12 different kinds of flowers and then the recipes are actually different. So if you have time, please do check that out. And I do have a bonus group. So if you became a student from my daily week classes, please do message me directly so that I can add you to the group, which I do share a lot of new recipes, which is actually because I had 9 different recipes for flowers. So I'm slowly releasing them one by one. So yun. Recently, I released ano ba tawag dito ma'am, yung my version of pastillas na hindi siya oily, then napapanipis siya like Like,
Mako, ano ba yun?
Mami, it's called Mami
Mami.
paste. Yeah, kasi
Okay.
it's Mark's milk paste. Yeah,
Okay. So, parang siyang
yeah,
pastillas paste. Pastillas
yeah.
fondant,
Or
ganon.
it's not, yes, it's not oily, and then you can thin the petals very well. Ayan.
Mm,
So,
okay.
pag
Yun nga,
naging, pag nag, mm,
yun nga yung ano, no, parang ang dami-dami mong ano, flowers, ang daming paste mo nilalabas. So, ano parang medyo na-confuse ako nung sa simula kasi ang alam ko lang talaga is ano, yun, yung fondant, gum paste, yun lang.
mm,
Tapos nun yung sa'yo, nung nakilala kita, wow, ang dami ang
ang
dami.
dami.
Oo. So,
At,
ano nga yun
mm,
ulit, yung ano, yung tatlong paste mo?
ayun, the three paste na available sa Bailiwick, that's Gluma paste. So, for
Mm.
those of you who are asking, Gluma paste actually, it's the flour paste that you can use kapag sobrang maulan. So if it's very, very humid, you can use
Mm.
that, and then it will hold its shape, and it will not melt. And then I have another one, which is the Flexi Bendy. So that's the flour na even if you smash it hard, it's not gonna break. Even if you throw it on the other side of the room, it's not gonna break. And then the other one is, of course, my gum paste, which is super quick dry, because I released another one in terms of drying time. The one I shared with Bailiwick dries faster.
Ayun. So, you have three kinds of paste dun sa ano, sa class mo sa'min, 'no?
Yeah.
Yun. So, yung mga ano, na-develop mo yung mga paste na yan, paano ka ba talaga nag-start dun sa pag-develop ng mga paste na yan? Ito na ba talaga yung course mo dati? Are you into in baking na ba talaga? Or what? Can you tell us your backstory?
Actually, I started with baking a little bit recent. It's been around 2 to 3 years ago.
Mm.
But in terms of the baking and then the culinary side, I came from a family of pastry chef, cooks, and bakers kasi. So I
Mm.
grew up wherein kapag may occasion sa bahay, kala mo may pastry competition. So may mga donuts, may eclairs,
Mm.
yun, parang normal yun kapag may birthdays. And then, pag Christmas lalo. So, kasi my aunts na pastry chefs abroad, so they go home. So, I remember it all started with my great-grandmother. So, she would
Mm.
always cook, bake, and then she's very particular about food. As in,
Mm.
she doesn't go to a specific restaurant na ordinary kasi pintasera siya sa food. So ganun
Gano'n?
siya kahigpit. Yeah, ganun kahigpit yung
Oo.
grandmother ko. So ano
Mm.
siya, pag tinikman niya pa lang or minsan tingin niya pa lang, alam niya pag may kulang or pag
Mm.
hindi quality yung ingredient na ginamit. So I was really not into food before. Ang focus ko kasi talaga more on arts. Arts,
Hmm.
sculpture, flowers. Flowers talaga. Flowers, plants, since bata pa ako. And
Hmm.
then it all started with one cake. Nagsimula lang siya sa isang cake. So after nun, naging part ako ng isang company which actually produces cakes. So I will no longer
Hmm.
mention the name. So from there,
Mm.
when I started to slowly develop na yung interest ko for cakes and pastries. And then after that, I'm not sure if pwede mag-promote, pero yeah, for
Mm.
those who are asking, I'm from Global Innovative College. So for those of you who wanted to learn, I mean, for those of you who wanted to explore the culinary path, so you can check out Global Innovative Culinary. So yeah, ayun.
Ayan.
Nag-promote.
So, kung gusto niyo mag-enroll.
Yeah, yeah. Ayun, the the chef instructors there are actually very, very nice. So dun
Mm.
din ako nanggaling actually. And then I do go there. So kapag ang topic na ng students actually is more on wedding cakes. So nandun din ako. So I'm one of
Nagtuturo ka rin do'n?
yeah, pero more on for let's say fondant, sugar flowers, yeah.
Mm.
I focus more on kasi for me, you have to focus on something for you to have like a placement in the industry. Kasi there's so many bakers, there's so many chefs. So what will set you apart from the rest? So for me, since I really love flowers ever since I was young, so nung nalaman ko na, oh, you can also create flowers from sugar. And then the gum paste that I'm using nun is actually a family recipe pa. So like the normal gum paste. So yun, so doon nag-start and then um nag-trigger yung interest ko. So, believe it or not, what I do most of the time these days, so since quarantine lalo, yun, I'm developing new taste and recipes for flowers. Kasi if you observe, I normally kasi if you observe your own recipes, there are some what do you call this? Parang mga ano ba tawag dito? Imperfections. Kasi wala naman perfect na recipe. So, when I develop a new recipe, I always try to answer that problem from the previous taste. So, ayun. So, and
So,
then,
depende siya talaga dun sa, ano mo, no? Sa location.
yes, depende sa location mo.
Weather, mga ganon.
And then, believe it or not, I focused on flowers then kasi aside from I really love flowers, it brings me happiness kasi seeing flowers. So, ang ginagawa ko talaga, before, nung wala pang quarantine, I go to Dangwa and then I buy real flowers. So, kinakalas ko sila isa-isa. So, pag walang available na, yes, even roses, ganun. So, actually, I'll show you something. Wait lang. I'll show you something. Ayan. Actually, this is a peony flower. Kasi recently, there are so many pink flowers na lumalabas, di ba? Like, peony tutorial, ganyan. So, ito, I studied kung ano talaga yung, pumili ako ng peony flower and then I studied kung paano talaga naka-attach yung petals. So, ganito talaga yung tsura ng totoong peony flower. Ayan siya.
Oh. Ganun mo
So,
nga. Para makita
ayan.
yung top
Ayan.
view side.
Ayan siya. So, ayun.
So,
So,
dissect mo talaga yung halaman.
Oo, and then,
yung flower.
yes.
Tapos
And then,
nire-recreate mo into sugar.
yeah. So, ayun, I was fascinated by that. And then, in terms of fondant naman, limitless kasi yung pwede mong magawa in terms of design with fondant. Kaya, it really triggered my interest. So, after nun, I studied and then I invested on studying on international instructors kasi I researched and I believe na some instructors that are actually good, they all studied from other instructors when they were starting. So ako, I had that point of view. So I studied from, for example, in Asia, who is really good in flowers. So that's
Yes,
how
ganun naman talaga dapat na meron tayong kanya-kanyang mentors, 'di ba? Para succeed tayo in life. Yan, pwede namang mag-isa, sariling kayod, pero if you want to fast track yung success mo, then you have to get a mentor, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Yan,
That's
magtuturo
correct.
talaga sa'yo.
That's
Yun.
correct.
So, sino yung greatest inspiration mo sa paggawa ng flowers?
Greatest inspiration for making flowers. Since I started flowers, sila Sylvia Weinstock, ayan. So sila Jacqueline Butler, ayan. Sila yung mga idols ko talaga. So you can check their pages out. Jacqueline Butler, Sylvia Weinstock, Alan Don. Ayan, I'm really a fan of Alan Don. And then also for Asian artists, so Jessica Min Wu, I really admire her. Actually, she's one of my mentor. So for those of you who wanted to study, you can check her out to promote. Ayun. And then aside from them, in the Philippines, I do have some idols also in terms of sugar flowers. So one of my mentors, which is also a good friend, is Chef Jackie Florendo.
Yes.
So she's also really, really good in flowers. Yeah.
Yun.
So sila yung always nilook up ko when it comes to flowers.
Oo. Sobrang ang gagaling nga nung mga yan. And you're one of them na, 'di ba?
Grabe. Actually,
Susunod na sa yapak ba? Ganyan.
going there, baby steps,
Oo, going there.
going
Yun,
there.
yun. So, parang partida pa yun na ano, wala pa dun pero parating na, 'di ba? So,
Yeah,
ano
going
po
there.
yung anong sa pagde-develop mo ng mga recipes mo, ng mga paste mo, ano yung greatest struggle na experience mo? Meron ka bang flower na iniyakan mo na ay parang gusto mo na mag-give up na gano'n? Meron bang
Ayun,
gano'n?
actually, yes, a lot of times, a lot of times.
Talaga?
Oo, actually, um, there is a side of me that is a perfectionist kasi. So,
Mm.
sometimes when I really wanted something, I really strive hard and focus on that. So, minsan 'pag
Mm.
meron akong kasi ako what I'm doing, kaya if you observe, on my Bailiwick class, that's actually,
Mm.
I consider that, actually a basic sugar flower class.
Yes.
But a lot of people actually questioned me when I released that. Why is it basic? You have a David Austin rose, you have a
Mm.
lily. I mean that they were telling me na it's actually part of the advanced
Advanced.
flower. And then
Mm.
I responded to them in a way na the technique that I developed is easier for a beginner to actually follow. So that's what
Mm.
I'm doing. I'm trying to create flowers that are realistically looking but very very easy to do.
Mm.
So and then also a lot of sugar flowers kasi mostly there are roses, peonies like that. So
Yes.
ako I'm slowly exploring and going back to my roots where I really started, which is more on gardening tsaka flowers. So there
Mhm.
are so many flowers kasi in the world. So slowly I'm releasing them one by one.
Mm.
Iba-ibang flowers na hindi masyadong alam pero madaling gawin.
Mm.
But you
So
can also use
ano yung pinakamahirap para sa'yo? Ano yung
ayun, hindi ko pala
struggle mo?
nasagot ayun, sorry di ko pala nasagot yung question 'no, masyado ako nagkuwento. For me the struggle talaga, it's more on the pressure. Kasi for me, your greatest enemy is yourself.
Mm.
Your yesterday self. I mean, if today you created a peony like this, like for tomorrow, I always think, how can I create a peony better than this one? Kasi
Mm.
for me, that's how you get better at doing something. You always have to develop from your last creation. Even
Mm.
with even if not just with sugar flowers, let's say my paintings when like the one at the back yan. Ay, di pala kita.
So nagpe-paint ka rin
Yeah.
pala?
Yeah, so if I'm not baking, yeah, yan yung mga pinagkakakitaan. So
Oo.
that's where I get my source of income. So I do paint. I also create some ads for some companies. Ayun,
Mhm.
so I do sketch. Yeah. Yeah, yun nga. So the pressure within yourself to always create something new. Kasi
Mm.
I know when I release flower tutorials on YouTube, a lot
Mm.
of people are actually messaging me kasi people are actually learning for free. But
Mm.
what I'm telling them is there's so many flowers in the world.
Mm.
So the flowers that I released on my class will never be released on YouTube. That's why even if a lot of my foreign fans are asking, can you do a video of sunflower? I always tell them, no, it's on my daily class. You can go there. Kasi
Mm.
those are actually the flowers that are really important to me. Yun yung
Mhm.
sunflower. Ayun,
Yun nga.
so yun nga, yung challenge. To be better than your yesterday self. It's really hard.
Oo.
Super hirap niya. Um,
So parang
kasi
kalaban mo yung sarili mo 'no?
yes, yes. Kasi, believe it
Oo.
or not, Ma'am Grace,
Hmm.
sometimes I really get frustrated 'pag hindi ko makuha yung gusto kong look ng flower. So, and
Mm.
then, when you do inventory check, there's a lot of, materials
Nasayang.
used already, yung mga gano'n. And then, ang dami mong nagagastos na floral wires kasi in making
Mm.
flowers, you also have to invest in other materials such as dust for coloring and then
Mm. Mm.
floral wires, floral tape,
Mm.
like that. So, nasasayang sila pag
Mm.
hindi ako happy dun sa itsura.
Mm.
Ayun.
So, kapag nangyayari yung gano'n na medyo frustrated ka na, disappointed sa mga gawa mo, what do you do to overcome those challenges, yung ganong feeling? Kasi I'm sure yung mga students nating iba, ganon din, di ba? So,
Yes, yes, correct.
bigyan mo naman sila ng tips. Ano bang dapat gawin doon?
Ayun, so for me, that's where my motto in life goes in.
Mm.
Ayun, my motto in life kasi is, problems are actually treasures. And
Mm.
happiness is always a choice that you can take every day. So, for me, nag-apply yung problems are always a treasure kasi, um, if you created a flower that's not that good looking and then you're frustrated, don't throw that away. Kasi that will serve as an inspiration. You have to look at problems as inspiration na
Mm.
this is where I started. So the next day that I'm going to do something like this, I have to make it better.
Mhm.
So
Right.
for me, that's how I cope up with problems. Also, try to imagine always and look for what other things you can do with, let's say, the flowers that you're not happy with. Of course, but that will be part of a cake decorating class that will be released soon. Maybe you're also in Bailiwick. So
Mm.
there's a way for you to actually use unwanted sugar flowers kasi. So you
Okay.
don't have to throw them away. You can
Mm.
still use them in cake decorating. So there's 10 techniques actually that I developed on how you can use them to decorate your cakes. So, ayun. Yeah.
Oh, so hindi pala dapat tinatapon yung mga reject na ano,
Yes,
mga
yes. Yung mga reject
flowers.
na, let's say for example, yung flowers, nalaglag,
Oo,
nabasag,
oo.
ganyan. So,
Yung mga
don't throw them
nabasag.
away. Oo. Kasi you can use that in cake decorating. Ayun.
Oh, okay. So may
And
mga
there's a lot
techniques
of
pa pala
techniques.
diyan.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of techniques.
Oh, and 10 nga yun 'no, sabi mo. So,
Yeah,
oo
there's
nga, medyo
yeah,
madami nga yun.
ayun, I developed 10 techniques for how you
Mm.
can use, let's say, broken petals or a flower that's
Mm.
not really good looking, how you can make a cake looking outstanding using
Mm.
the unwanted flowers. I'm always pointing here. Nandito kasi yung peony, sorry. Ayun kasi siya.
Ayan, hawakan mo na lang yung peony.
Hawakan ko na lang yung peony.
Hindi mo na
Ayun.
ituturo-turo diyan.
Hi. Oh, nanonood pala
Oo,
sila ano. Hi Amir, hi Jackie, hi Chef
oo nga
Shirley.
eh.
Ayun.
Hi everyone. Thank you for
Hi.
watching us.
Hi
Thank you for
everyone.
tuning in.
Hi, beautiful
Yun,
people.
yan, mahilig ka nga diyan sa mga ganyan beautiful people.
No, kasi ano, actually
Oo.
a lot of people ask me, why am I using Hi Beautiful People? Actually, it started with the belief kasi na if you greeted someone, Hi Beautiful, parang it empowers them. Kasi not everyone is being called beautiful. But
Yes.
for me, each and every person is beautiful, inside
Mm.
and out. So, if you had a chance to actually make someone feel that he or she is a beautiful person, that's really wonderful. Especially at this time
Mm.
na it's
Yes.
very challenging.
Mm. So,
Ayun.
everybody needs that. Everybody deserves that naman, 'di ba?
Yes, because
Oo.
everyone is beautiful.
Yes.
Hmm.
Ayun. So, ano dun sa out of the 3 paste na binanggit mo kanina, yung Gluma paste, Flexibendy, Gum paste, ano dun
Mm.
yung pinaka-favorite mo? Ano yung go-to paste mo?
Yung pinaka-favorite ko, the go-to paste, actually it's
Mm.
always the Gluma paste. So, when I'm having a competition, so that's always what I use. Kasi the good thing about Gluma paste is you can actually thin it very well. In fact, this
Mm.
peony, this is made from Gluma paste. So you
Mm.
see, it's really translucent, it's thin, and then it does not melt even on high humidity. So a lot of startup bakers kasi they don't have a proper place pa to
Mm.
work on a cake project. So most of the time, if you use paste that has a sugar base or let's say a gelatin base, most probably it would melt. And then they would lead to depression, 'di ba? Na ako yung
Mm.
flowers ko pinaghirapan ko natunaw. So
Oo.
if you're using Gluma paste kasi actually I had um one of my challenging classes. I'll just share. So
Mm.
one of my challenging classes before I had a private class at Lucena. So we held it at a farm. So open farm as in. So it was raining nung half of the afternoon. That was the time na pumutok din yung taal.
Mm.
So ano yun, as far as I remember, since we used Gluma paste, so dun talaga siya na-test. Walang nag-melt,
Mm.
even if umuulan, tapos very humid yung area.
Mm.
Ayun.
So, gano'n siya kaganda, 'di ba? So,
Yes.
kasi yun yung laging problem ng mga bakers ngayon, 'di ba? Na yun nga natutunaw kapag hindi sila makapag-work, kapag wala do'n sa aircon room, tapos nun
Yes,
kapag umuulan, hindi rin makapag-work, mahirap magpa-form ng flowers, 'di ba?
yes,
Pero
yes, correct.
with your paste, yun nga, yung Gluma paste, um, mapapadali yung buhay nila. No, hindi mo na kailangang um, pumunta pa sa aircon room para
Yeah.
mag-work dun sa flowers mo. Tapos magiging firm, fo-form mo siya talaga, 'di ba? Hindi siya nagdo-droop.
Yes,
Ganun.
yes.
Yan.
Ayun.
Na-try
Yes.
ko na rin 'yun personally eh. Kasi nga so after checking out your class din sa amin, tinry ko siya. And true enough, yun nga, ganun nga siya. Kahit na maulan, okay pa rin yung
Mm.
flowers. Yun.
Ayun.
Tapos,
So,
sige po, ano po
and
yun?
I think Chef Jimbo is watching pala. Hi, Chef Jimbo. And
Oo.
then I have we have other watchers such as hi Rose
Marie.
Cardwell. How are you? And then yeah, we have other watchers from different areas.
Yes,
Hi, hi. Yeah.
mga students
Ayun.
natin yung mga yan. Si Chef Jimbo, ayan, hi Chef. Sila Marie, Poliarco, and Rose. Yan.
Yeah, yeah. Sila.
Mga natin, students natin yan. Sa Bailiwick Academy. Yun. So, so, aside sa flowers, no, ano pa yung mga pinagkakaabalahan mo ngayon? Kanina you mentioned that you also paint. Tapos, ano pa yung iba? Meron ka nabanggit before ng isa
Hi.
paper
Yes,
cutting,
yes.
ganyan. Nagaganon
Yes,
ka rin,
yes.
di ba? So, ano
Yes.
pa yung ibang mga hidden talents mo hindi alam ng mga mga viewers natin? Kasi parang lahat ang dami na eh. Parang lahat
Grabe
alam na.
naman. Hindi, ayun. Ayun, so if I'm not baking, what I
Mm.
do, on my earlier days, I started hosting. So I'm doing hosting
Mm.
gigs. So when I was in college, I'm
Mm.
hosting at bars. So kasi I
Mm.
studied from BGC. So there's a lot of bars. So I'm doing hosting gigs sa mga bars. Extra income din yon. So I even had an event na I hosted an event for MYMT.
Mm.
Ayun. And then, of course, the Daily Week, what do you call that? Our anniversary yan. So I also
Mm.
hosted that. Ayun. So that's what I do, hosting gigs. Yeah. Hosting gigs. And then, before, I was a part of SM group of
Mm.
companies. So when they do have art camps, I'm teaching arts and crafts. So basic drawing, basic painting for kids. And
Mm.
then pero since now our summer ended ng may COVID, so walang summer art camp. So for
Mm.
kids at home, just explore and make
Mm.
use of your crayons. So muro gadgets. Ayun, and then yeah, I do paint although this time not that much. Pero sketches, yes. So I'll just show you some. So yan, the one at the
Mm.
back, ayan. Mahirap pala no if you're in a camera. So
Oo.
ayun, so ayan. The one at the back,
Nakikita naman.
that's actually my first painting. So I
Mm.
painted that 2011. Ayan, so it has been displayed sa malls before. May buyers, but I prefer not to sell it kasi that's my
Mm.
very first painting. And
Hmm.
then Yeah, kasi
First pa
there's
yan,
yes, that was the first.
First pa
Kasi
yan talaga.
oo, first talaga yan.
Oo.
Kasi when I look at that, I'm always reminded where I started na
Mm.
you have to be colorful, pero you have to stand out. So the black bamboo stands out on a colorful
Mm.
background. So rainbow kasi LGBT yan. So I do support
Mm.
LGBT people.
Mm.
Ayun, so ayan, some other paintings. Ayan. So I do portraits. So before, when I still have a lot of time, I accept commission works. So I do sketch faces of people. And then there's even a point wherein I got an email. Pero natawa ko. Pero I chose not to pursue. So di ba pag may mga crime scene, sometimes you are
Mm.
asked to sketch faces of
Oo.
people. Feeling ko
Oo.
kasi baka doon ako mamatay.
Mm.
So hindi ko siya pinursue. Pero when I was in college, normally, when I see cute guys, let's say
Mm.
on a jeepney or on my way to school, I usually copy and sketch their
Ah,
faces. So,
talaga?
yes,
Mm.
I'll show you samples here because I easily remember facial features. Believe it or
Mm.
not, when I look at a person's face for a
Mm.
long time, I see lines on the face of that person, and then
Hmm.
I can always go back to my imagination what the lines look
Mm.
like. Then when I start sketching, wait lang, I'll hold the peony kasi nalalaglag siya. Ayun, so I'll show you ito. It's a sketchbook. I'll just show you.
Mm.
So ito, these are actually faces of people. Ayan, so yan,
Oh,
mga
marami-rami
ganyan.
yan.
Yeah,
Wow.
medyo madami-dami sila.
Oo.
So, ayan, so
So, ano
ganyan.
yung gamit mo? Pencil lang,
Charcoal,
charcoal, pencil,
charcoal,
gano'n?
charcoal.
Oh.
So ito na yung mga, let's say, ayan. So ayan,
Mga
nakasabay ko yan
mga ilang
before.
mga ilang years na yan, yung collection mo?
Ito, 2011, 2010, 2010,
2010. Wow.
2010, 2010 pa siya.
Mm.
So, ayan. So, nakasabay ko siya sa
Na
FX before.
oo. Tapos
Ayan. So,
dinrowing mo na agad.
sa side view lang kasi, so hindi ko makita
Mm.
yung, syempre di mo naman pwedeng sabihin na, hey, harap ka nga sa akin, ganun. Baka mamaya batuhin ka nun.
Oo.
So, and then
Yan.
I have, ito, I'll just share last one. Ito naman, yan.
Yan.
So,
Nakita mo lang rin yan.
yeah, sa jeep, pero ang bilis kasi bumaba. So,
Mm.
hindi ko na na, hindi ko na naalala yung features masyado.
Oo. Na-drawing mo na rin ba yung ano mo, love life mo?
The current one, hindi. Pero
Oo, hindi pa.
may excess, yes. So,
Wag na yun.
ayan pa, ayan.
Ay, pinakita ko.
Yeah, yeah. So, ayun. Ayan. So, mabilis lang
Ayan.
para hindi mo masyado makita.
Hmm. Okay. So, meron na tayong ano, mga request dito kay Rose tsaka kay Jackie. If you can do hand painting in cake class. Yan. Yan, sabi ni
Um,
Rose. Can you do painting in cake
actually,
class?
actually, there's a lot of people asking me. But
Hmm.
before I release a class kasi, the one thing that I'm considering always is, are there any other instructors teaching that?
Hmm.
Kasi syempre, I don't want to go out and then stepping out on someone who's already teaching that. And then if there's really a demand to actually have a class on that,
Hmm.
I try to make it very different. Let's say, aside from just painting 2D, why not make it painting 3D and a sculpted cake? So maybe in the future we can release. I'm very open with Bailiwick, so maybe we can plan that, Ma'am Grace. Yeah,
Yan.
for
So guys,
painting
alam nyo
classes.
na. So kung interested kayo, if you're interested to have Mark do painting class cake on a cake sa the Bailiwick Academy, comment down below na lang.
Yeah, comment down
Yan.
below. Like,
Comment down below na
yes,
you're interested, if you're in. Yan. So para alam namin kung ano, if there's a demand for this class, for this type of
Yes, yes.
class. Yan.
Sige, since quarantine naman, I'll make a prototype niya para pang-hype. Tapos I'll post it sa sa Bailiwick group para may
Oo,
pang-hype tayo. Sige, I'll think of
oo.
an inspiration na kasi I'll not mention names pero there are instructors kasi teaching painting on cakes. But
Mm,
locally, I haven't seen an embossed um painted cake. So I
mm.
think that one we can release as a class.
Oh,
Ayun.
embossed
An embossed
painted
painted
cake.
cake.
Oo
Let's
nga,
say for
parang wala pang
example,
ano.
so magiging basically what it would look like. Let's say for example, this
Mm,
painting. So
mm,
instead of the face being flat, so we will put like gum paste or fondant first and then we will paint it also para
mm,
emboss, 'di ba? So, yun lang, parang
mm.
it's different kasi I don't want to release classes that actually is a bit or very, very same with other instructors.
Oo,
I
oo
respect
naman.
all the instructors, yeah. And I'm friends with them all. Yan. I love
Oo
you
naman.
all. Ayun.
Ay, meron tayong ano, si Chef Joey Pras nanonood ngayon.
Hi, Chef
Hi, Chef
Joey.
Joey. Yan.
Yan,
Yan, sabi ni
thank
Chef
you.
Joey, Mark, you are an extraordinary artist. You are an inspiration to
Wow.
a lot of our students.
Wow.
Yes.
Coming from you, Chef, that really means a lot. Ayan,
Oo.
so Chef Joey is actually one of the chefs that I really admire. So I'm
Mm.
really inspired even in terms of the life story. Ayan.
Oo, the best
Super,
talaga.
super inspiring.
Lahat tayo idol yan. Ayan, may mga nag-comment na ano, go lang daw. Go, go, go. Yan, sila Jackie. Oh, mag-enroll na daw agad si Jackie.
Wow.
Yan, interesting. Ayan. So, asahan namin kayo, Mamaya, hindi
Yes,
ka
yes.
mag-enroll. Ayun. Ano pa? So,
Ayun.
ano pa yung mga aside dun sa painting? Ay, you collect your plants, di ba?
Yes,
Yun.
yes.
Medyo
Ayun.
nagugulat na ako dun sa mga ni-stream mo ngayon. Puro green na lang. Aside from flowers, yun nga, plants naman, di ba?
Mm.
You have that collection for a long time na, no?
Yes, yes. Actually, that's my addiction. Kasi every person has an addiction.
Mm,
So, ako, since I was a kid, I started gardening when I was in kinder. The reason behind, my grandfather actually, we have a farm sa Binangonan. So,
mm,
my grandfather used to plant a lot. So, he also makes bonsai and a lot of other plants. So, at an early age, I really got an interest for plants and then how they grow. And then, when I saw the flowers, yun, talaga, doon ako na-inspire. So, with plants, I can't live without plants. So, yun yung addiction ko talaga. So, when I was young, I always save from my allowance. And then every weekend, um, ako yung bata na I go to school, I ask for allowance, pero I'll bring in baon. So
mm,
imagine, pag recess time, tsaka pag lunch, usually, I'll just buy water or juice sa
mm,
canteen. And then, the excess money, which is a little bit huge, kasi di ba I have baon. So,
mm,
ginagamit ko siya on market day, pag Saturday, Sunday, I buy plants. So that's how it started. And then started from one plant and then dumami ng dumami ng dumami. And then
mm,
I got bored kasi parang when you go to a plant store or a local plant shop, parang lahat nung nandun, meron ka na. So
mm,
almost all of the plants there you already have. So I started going when I travel. So I go to garden shows.
mm,
So to check for new hybrids.
mm,
Ayun. So, and then, my fascination and addiction for plants became deeper. That's why, a lot of people actually, especially these days,
mm,
a lot of online sellers, a lot of them are actually asking or consulting about plants because there are actually some sellers, when they start, they're actually selling plants with the wrong naming
mm,
or origin. So Plantitas or Plantitos that are actually really studying plants would get mad at you pag mali-mali yung naming mo sa plants. And then some sellers, because if you're not that really into gardening talaga from the start,
Mm.
plants do have diseases. So believe it or not, may plants na may kuto for plants. So such
Mm.
as spider mites, yung mga ganon. So
Mm.
yun yung isa sa specialty ko sa plants. So I do plant consultancies. So that's one of my sources for income. So let's say you wanted to have a landscape at home.
Mm.
Normally I would go at your place to study how the light shines, what kind of sunlight do you get? Is there an access
Mm.
for light? How about your water? What's the pH level of your water? Kasi some
Mm.
plants, sensitive sila sa mineral contents like chlorine, ganyan.
Mm.
And then, yeah, so habang nagkikwento ko, I'll show you some plants that I have here.
Oo nga, ang dami mong plants diyan. Pinakita mo sa akin yung sa studio mo. Ano,
Ayan.
na-amaze ako, ang daming plants.
Actually, I'll show you some pictures. Wait lang ah. So,
Sige.
and screen. Wait.
Screen share.
Screen share. Wait lang. Okay, so hindi ko siya magawa sa laptop ko. Anyways, I'll just show you the plants that I have here with me. So, ito, ayan, that's an example. This is photos tawag talaga nila dito. Pero in Filipino, this is called celia. If you wanted to start gardening, ito yung isa sa pinakamadaling patubuin. So, indoor kasi, normally, wrong connotation. Pag sinabing indoor, lalagay nila sa madilim, walang ilaw. No, that's wrong. Kasi plants need light to photosynthesize ng food. So, grabe, ang nerd ko, no?
Oo.
Ayun. So,
Alam mo ba, ang tawag ko lang dyan sa mga yan is plants lang.
as
Wala
in,
akong alam na pangalan.
believe it or not, kasi I was really addicted to plants. So, I was that kind of kid na hindi ako excited pag dinala mo ako sa candy shop, sa toy store. Pero pag dinala mo ako sa garden show, as in, para akong batang nasa candy shop. As
So,
in,
ilang taon ka nun?
I started when I was in kinder. So,
Kinder pa lang.
kinder pa lang. Ang first plant ko noon is Monstera adansoni. So, ano siya, wala ako dito na sa garden kasi, so hindi nyo siya makita. Pero, pag sinearch nyo siya, siya yung parang butas-butas na dahon. So, isa siya sa mahal ngayon.
Nasa pictures ba yun? Yan na natin. Oo.
Sige, ayan.
Yan.
So, magpa-flash. Ayan, my God, yung pictures ko. Ayun.
So, eto, anong plant yan?
Ayan, that's actually caladium. So, actually, yung dahon niya, kaya siyang palaki na mas malaki pa sa face ng tao. Like that one. Naging mahal siya lately kasi sobrang ganda ng colors ng dahon. Pero this one, I got it really cheap before. Ayan, so caladium yan.
Matagal na yan
Matagal
sa'yo.
na yan. And then I have a lot of
Ano pa yung
babies.
ito yung sa garden mo, no?
Yeah, that's the garden. Actually, my grandfather takes care of that. So, and also my grandmother. So, yan. Sila yung nag-aalaga dyan. Ayan, so yung kanina,
maliit pa.
caladium. So, ganyan yung itsura ng ano niya, ng baby. So, pag sineseparate.
Oh.
I'm so nerd, no? Grabe.
Siguro dapat may isa pang online class para dito sa mga halaman na to, no?
Actually, naisip ko yan. Parang, what if
naman
we release ng... Ayan, so...
Ayan. So, sa lahat ng plants mo, ilan na tong collection mo? Ilang species ba tawag doon sa mga ano?
Dito sa bahay, indoor, I have about 200 plus species. Species kasi, let's say for example, ano ba maganda example? Ito, for example, this
200
one.
plus? Tama ba?
For example, this one, ayan. This one, tsaka this one, it's actually the same species, pero magkaiba lang sila ng, pareho silang photos, pero magkaiba sila ng dahon.
Mm.
Yeah. So, this is just
So,
one
same
species.
lang ng pangalan, pero iba ng look ng leaves.
Yes. That's the result of hybridization kasi. So, maraming,
Mm.
yun yung actually pinupunta ko sa garden shows.
Mm.
Yung mga bagong hybrids. Kasi
Mm.
yun nga yung addiction ko. So,
Mm.
dati, nung wala pang hype sa plants, ngayon kasi sobrang taas ng demand.
Oo.
Before, nung hindi pa ganun kataas yung demand for plants, um, it's really expensive na. Siguro if you'll go on a garden show, normally, you can spend mga 17K, 20K just for
Mm.
plants. Pero ngayon, siguro, that's just one plant. Kasi may plant ngayon na binibenta for 15K.
Talaga?
Yeah, pero
Isang paso lang 'yon?
that's
Or
just
malaki na siya?
one plant that has around 3 leaves, pero malaki talaga. Yeah.
Okay, malaki naman.
I
Grabe,
mean, yeah,
15,000.
malaki siya. Oo. Ayun,
Wow.
kasi mataas yung demand ngayon. The reason behind,
Oo.
um, naubusan na ng supply sa mga farms actually. Dahil
Hmm.
there's so many new plant sellers. So nangyari, they always get from the farms, and then the farms, of course, pag when you propagate plants, they will not grow instantly. Unlike sugar flowers, you can create so many like this.
Oo.
Pero for plants, it takes days, weeks for them to
Mm.
grow. So, sobrang tagal.
Mm. So,
So,
paano 'yun, sa'kin kasi, wala akong green thumb. Laging namamatay yung mga halaman dito sa'min. So,
ah,
ano yung mai-advice mo sa'kin or sa mga katulad ko? Kasi wala ring sun dito. Ano lang, as in konti lang, gano'n.
konti lang.
Hindi siya walang
Ayun,
full sun.
for for indoor plants na low
Oo.
light levels talaga, this is what I can recommend. Actually, they grow kahit walang sunlight. Let's say, yung
Mm.
incandescent light, such as the light
Oo.
bulb,
Mm.
they grow. So, it's a variety ng snake plant. So, they call
Mm.
this as Sansevieria bacularis. So,
Mm.
normally, maliliit lang sila. Ayan. Pero this one kasi, it's been a very old plant of mine. So, matagal na 'to. Ayan. So,
Mm.
yung mga patusok-tusok na ganyan na plant,
Oo,
sobrang bilis niyang patubuin. As in,
talaga. Anong pangalan ulit?
bacularis.
Something, Bacularis?
Sige,
Hindi ko ma-pronounce.
iko-comment ko na lang later. Snake plant
Ano ba
yun.
'yan? Oo,
Tsaka
parehas
yung Celia. Pero kasi,
ayan, Celia.
siguro maybe if we will release a class, siguro on plants, ito
Mm.
siguro yung isa sa aside from plant arrangement, let's say mga dish gardening, ganyan.
Mm.
So, para sulit siguro we can make, let's say, dish gardening ng succulents, tas dish gardening ng small
Mm.
plants. And
Mm.
then
How to take care
eto
of them, mga ganyan. Yung mga hindi mamamatay.
kung titignan niyo, hydroponic.
Oo.
So, it's growing on water. Actually, not really on moist air. So, ayan siya. And then, wala siyang soil, pebbles lang.
Oh, okey.
Ayan. So, this
Sa
has
tingin mo
been
hindi yan
like
mamamatay
this.
sa'kin?
No, no, hindi siya mamamatay. Mahirap patayin yung it's hard to kill photos.
Okey. So,
Yeah.
meron
Lalo
naman
na
akong
yung
mabubuhay.
lalo na 'tong, especially this one, the snake plant, it's really, really
Oo.
hard to kill, as
Talaga?
in. Mm.
So, parehas pala kami ni Amir. Ayan, sabi niya, "Same tayo, Ma'am Grace. We have plants, but everything that looks like dahon ng gabi is called gabi." Oo nga.
Ayun. So, again, lumabas yung that's one side of me na hindi ko masyado nilalabas. So, yeah,
Oo.
I'm really, really a plant nerd. So, as
Mm.
in, nerd
Grabe
talaga ako sa
nag-start ka pa
plants.
pala nun, Akala ko
Oo.
mga 10 years ago, mga ganyan lang. Kinder ka pa pala.
Tagal na, super tagal na. And then,
Oo.
actually, believe it or not, yung addiction ko sa plant,
Mm.
minsan kahit pagtulog, before ako matulog, usually nag-iisip ako kung ano yung plant na either paparamihin ko, propagate ko, ganyan, or kung ano yung gusto kong bilhin na bago, ganyan.
Mm.
So, in terms of the budget, so very big chunk of my budget saving
Mm.
goes to plants talaga.
Talaga? Eh, hindi ano, you're not into flowers, yung mga ano, plants lang na ganyan, green stuff. Hindi ko alam yung tawag, so
Flowers,
hindi
ay
yung
yung mga
mga
ano,
flowering plants, hindi yung gano'n.
flowering plants, yeah, I do have a lot of flowering plants din.
Meron din. So, dun sa
Oo,
200
marami.
plus na collection mo, meron din gano'n?
Yung 200 plus, indoor lang sila lahat. So, outdoor sa garden, siguro mga nasa around 180, hindi, not 180.
Mm.
Siguro mga 150, 170
Mm.
species. So, yun yung iba. So, may madaming roses. Mahilig kasi ako sa roses.
Meron ka
So,
rin.
iba-ibang roses. Oo.
Okay.
Iba-ibang roses.
Sa lahat ng collection mo, ano yung favorite mo? Pinaka-favorite?
Favorite plant, I would
Oo,
say, ito.
isa
Actually,
lang.
meron ako ni-red. Nasa likod ko. Ito, favorite ko.
Hindi naman masyadong prepared.
Ayun, very, very, actually ito, it's a very pretty plant, pero hindi siya masyado nabibigyang pansin. So,
Mm.
ito, I wanted to share with you. Ito, ayan siya.
Anong tawag dyan?
So, isang Asiaticum, yung tawag nila.
Asiaticum.
Ayun.
Nice.
Pero yung ang totoong classification, the real naming is actually Jasminum asiaticum. So, ayun siya. So, it
Bakit
has
mo
a
siya
lot of,
favorite?
uh, one plant produces different colors of leaves. So, depending on the light source. So, if you're giving it not enough sunlight, normally it produces two colors. So, that's
Mhm.
white and then green. But if you will put it in a location that has so much sun, it will produce four colors. So that's green, that's white, that's pink, and then red.
Sa isang plant
Ayun.
lang yun?
So this one kasi indoor, just one plant, one stem. One stem
Ah,
produces a lot of different colors.
talaga?
Yeah.
Sa isang, yung leaves na yon or walang flowers, no?
Ayan.
Yan. So, sa isang plant, iba't
And so
ibang
this one, and
color.
kasi this is kept, mm, ayan siya. So it has white leaves and then meron dark green. Kasi indoor ko siya nilagay. Pero if I'll put this
Mm.
outdoors, it will produce pink leaves tsaka yung red. Ayun.
Pink leaves and red din.
So,
So, meron ka rin ganyan
pink
sa
leaves,
labas?
meron ganyan sa labas. Yun, maraming red tsaka green, red and pink leaves.
Mm.
Ayun.
Okay. So, medyo busy ka pala ngayon no? Dami mong pinagkakaabalahan. Ang dami mong source of income. So, sabi ko na nga ba, parang nasa iyo na lahat, di ba?
Grabe, hindi.
So meron kang hosting, merong painting, sa
Hosting,
plants,
painting.
oo, yung mga sketching mo. So, ang dami mong gig. So, aside doon sa mga, tapos meron ka pang mga vlogs, di ba?
Yeah,
Ano
vlog.
yung ano mo, yung YouTube channel mo, invite mo nga
YouTube
sila.
channel.
Oo. Ang dami
Ayun.
niyang tutorials doon Gulat ako.
Pero one thing is for sure, the flowers I released in my classes will never be on
Mm.
YouTube. Kasi that's for free.
Oo. Oo.
Um, I actually released that. Actually, my vlog page is Marc Kevin Style. So yeah, Marc Kevin Style. So yeah, my name,
Yan.
Marc Kevin Style. And then I started with vlogging because of one student.
Mm.
So she
Ano daw?
really pushed me na, you know what, you should start YouTube, ganyan. And then my cousin from States, from Florida, she actually told me na Christmas pa lang, actually last year, sinasabihan niya na ako na you should start vlog, you should start vlogging, ganyan. Pero ako
Mm.
kasi, kung makita yung sarili ko as a vlogger,
Mm.
hindi ko alam kung paano mag-start. And then, nung
Mm.
nag-start ako ng medyo natakot ako noon kasi sabi
Mm.
ko, naku, parang wala naman yatang magfo-follow. So, I'm a little bit scared. And then,
Mm.
um, I I did not expect the kind of response I got from a lot of people, not only in our country, pero around the
Mm.
globe.
Mm.
So, I even got responses from people who are actually on the hospitals. And
Mm.
then what they do, they make flowers as a therapy. So it
Mm.
helped them with their anxiety and depression. And then also there are some cancer patients who
Mm.
actually use the the art of creating flowers at home, not
Mm.
just in sugar but also in clay as a hobby and as a
Mm.
therapy to actually forget life life problems and then depression. Yeah.
Yan. So medyo
Ayun.
nagduda ka pa pala sa simula if you will
Oo.
start your vlog, your YouTube channel, no? So meron palang ganon si Mark, 'di ba?
Hindi
So
kasi
ano, dapat
ayun.
lang so lakas ng loob na lang talaga. So, 'di ba dun sa advice natin dun sa mga ibang people na takot
Yes,
na pumasok sa ganito, 'di ba? So, if they're just starting out dun sa paggawa ng flowers, natatakot sila, medyo na-overwhelm, 'di ba?
yes,
So, wag
yes,
kayong matakot. I-try nyo lang, 'di ba? And it will work wonders dun sa to
yes,
other
yes.
people and para na rin po sa inyo, 'di ba?
Yes. Ayun,
Yun.
so I do have some advice pala for those of
Mm.
you. Actually, this applies not only for sugar flowers and let's say cake decorating. This actually applies for all the things that you wanted to do in life.
Mm.
For me, if you really wanted something, start right away. But before you start, make sure you have a concrete plan and then you're really,
Mm.
really sure why you wanted to start with that. So when it comes to making with sugar flowers, um, you have to be what you call this, you have to be decisive, as in now, you have to start now. Because if you won't start now, what will happen is another day will pass, and then you will
Mm.
tell yourself again, oh, I really wanted to start making sugar flowers. And then
Mm.
you will not start. And then the next day will come again. And then the same pattern and routine goes on and goes on until eventually you already completed a month and then you're not yet starting. You
Wala pa
know,
rin.
it's like a process, it's like a chain. So for
Mm.
me, oo, wala pa din. Actually, that's a little common with us Filipinos. That's why when I'm doing, ayun pala, so di ko pala na-mention, before when there's no quarantine yet, what I do also, more on public speaking. So actually more of inspirational talk.
Mm.
So, pero I do talks more on the LGBT side and then
Mm.
also for career development
Oh,
yan.
yan.
So,
Speaker
yun.
naman
So,
ngayon. Ang dami mong hats.
na-plug in ko lang. Ayun. So, yeah.
Okay.
Ayun. So, ayun, going back, um, if you don't start now, the main reason is you're scared. Um,
Mm.
you have to trust yourself and be confident. Kasi when you start now, believe it or not, on the process of you starting, you will learn a lot of things.
Mm.
Then, on the process or on the journey, you will be able to develop yourself more. You will be able to make what you're doing more detailed, more realistic. Same as with sugar flowers. When I started, my flowers doesn't really look like flowers at all. As in,
Talaga?
although the coloring is actually really, really okay, but in terms
Mm.
of the structure, it's really, really thick.
Mm.
So And so for those of you who want to look at my old sugar flower works, sige, I'll
Mm.
post tomorrow para makita nyo.
Oo, yung mga nagsisimula ka
And
pala mga before and after, no?
that's around 2 to 3 years ago.
Mm.
Sobrang, as in my roses back then looks like cabbage,
Mm.
ganon. Pero I'm really happy looking back at those old pictures kasi it reminds you of the process of you improving, 'di ba? So, ayun. So
Correct.
it applies to all things in life. So, parang your scars from the past, so don't hide them. In
Mm.
fact, capitalize or invest on them because that will actually make you unique.
Right. So, don't forget na to start now. So, kasi yung mahilig dyan sa mga yan is titingin lang sa Facebook, titingin na makikita, ay, ang ganda naman gawa niya, ang ganda. Gusto ko rin maging kagaya niya. Oy, dito na naman si Chef Mark. Nag-post na naman, ang ganda-ganda ng gawa niya. Yung mga ganon, 'di ba? Idol ko. Pero sinasabi nila lagi na gusto kong maging kagaya niya, pero wala namang ginagawa, 'di ba? Hindi naman sila nagsa-start na gawin yung mga natutunan nila. So hanggang ganun lang. So dapat hindi ganun, 'di ba? So when you invest in our class, make sure na gawin ninyo, 'di ba? So
Yes.
simple lang naman yung sa recipe ni Mark. Tapos nun, hindi mo naman kailangan gawin lahat, totally lahat, 'di ba? At the same time. So, kahit one at a time lang, 'di ba? And then from there, you start.
Correct,
Tapos
correct.
as you go along, then mapapractice ka na mapapractice hanggang sa gaganda na ng gaganda yung gawa mo, 'di ba? So, lahat naman yan, maski si Mark,
Correct, correct.
sabi nga niya kanina is mukhang cabbage nga yung rose niya. So, lahat dumadaan sa ganun. So, continue practicing lang kasi it takes practice lang rin talaga. So, at first, parang mukhang mahirap, pero with proper guidance, na katulad ni Mark, makukuha at makukuha nyo rin. Diba?
Correct. Tsaka don't be shy to message me. Let's say, for example, especially with the Gluma paste, a lot of people kasi when they first start doing it, um, sometimes kasi they would say na, oh, I followed everything, pero
Mm-mm.
meron talagang hindi na follow. Kasi it won't, the Gluma paste pala, there's no fail. So, um, the recipe is actually a little bit adjustable. So, I also
Mm-mm.
teach that. So,
Mm-mm.
you find it hard, it's not really hard. Actually, it's very easy to make. If you're a bit challenged to do it, so please do message me. I reply fast naman within the day, 24 hours.
Mm-mm. Yan.
Ay, ako.
Mabait yan si Mark, guys. Huwag
Ayun.
kayong matakot. Huwag kayong matakot na mag-message sa kanya. Mabait yan. Baka kasi,
Oo.
natatakot sila. Baka, yung iba kasi, baka akalain mo na parang common sense na, yung mga ganun. Pero, hindi naman. We're here to help you, di ba?
Yes,
Kaya,
correct.
we answer naman everything kung ano yung mga tanong ninyo. And we also give you advice, 'di ba? Dun sa mga gustong
Yes, yes, correct. Actually, there are other.
sige po.
Ayun. Ay, sorry, sorry.
Sige
Medyo
po.
nagla-lag kasi na onti yung I think my
Mm-mm.
internet connection yata. Ayun, just wanted to share, ayun, there are other students din kasi, sometimes they're asking, things not related on my class. But I do
Mm-mm.
answer also, especially 'pag hindi ako busy. Let's say, sometimes kasi they're asking about, stacking ng cake, mga ganyan,
Mm-mm.
or buttercream, yan. I also answer.
Kasi nasagot mo
So
na
don't be
rin yung mga
shy.
ganun.
Di man ako mukhang mataray, di ba?
Hindi naman. Hindi naman mukhang
Yeah, sumasagot
mataray.
ako. Sumasagot ako.
Oo.
Ayun.
So, what inspired you to teach? Kasi, you could have kept all of your recipes to yourself, pero why do you teach it?
Ayun, napakagandang question. the reason why I decided to teach, for me kasi, it's connected to the sunflower.
Mm.
Um, in some of my classes, I mean the actual classes and workshops na I'm holding before, I always tell this to my students, and they always laugh at me. Lagi nila akong pinagtatawanan, ano. Kasi for
Mm.
me, I have this vision of myself just like a sunflower. So, in time, you do have a very beaming and limelight situation, but it won't last long. Parang life ng tao. Let's say for example me, I'm doing flowers. I won't be here on this earth for long. Of course, I'll grow old and then eventually I'll go to other dimensions. So um the knowledge of you, I mean the process of you transferring the knowledge to other people will actually keep the craft going. That's
Mm.
why I really enjoy teaching. Kasi if I'll keep it all to myself, let's say for example, if I passed away,
Mm.
how will other people create flowers using gluma paste, or how will other people continue creating flowers using my technique? So things like that. That's why I release YouTube also. That's
Mm.
one of the reasons why I release vlogs. Kasi for me, you're never sure kasi. What if, for example, one day nagkaroon ako ng amnesia? Di ba?
Mm.
What if I woke up with amnesia? So I don't know anything na. So at
Mm.
least people can still, still create beautiful
Mm.
things. That's
Yes.
my
Mm.
thinking.
Yun, tama. So, di naman natin talaga madadala yan yung lahat ng yan sa grave natin, no?
Correct.
Oo,
Super
kaya
true.
yan. So, continue lang yung pag-teach natin kasi we want other people to be successful too, 'di ba? Hindi lang yung tayo,
Correct, correct.
yun. So, sama-sama tayong magiging successful, sama-sama tayong aangat. Yan.
Correct.
So,
Correct,
ano,
correct.
etong mga flowers mo, yung mga tinuturo mo, binebenta na rin 'to nung ibang mga students mo, 'no? Tama?
Yes, yes. Actually, a lot of my students are selling flowers also.
Mm.
Ayun,
So
actually, that's
so
my
instead na decorating the cakes, instead of
mm,
decorating the cakes, they also sell the flowers mismo para kung tinatamad kang gumawa ng flower mo ng sarili mo or hindi ka pa gano'n ka-confident sa mga gawa mo, then, you can buy na lang from those people na mga students mo, 'no?
yes, yes,
Or
correct,
yung
correct.
ready-made na.
Correct.
No?
Actually, just wanted to share. I had this one student before. Before she was still making cakes, and
Mm.
then after the class, um, she is she focused on flowers also. Kasi ako, honestly, even if I do sugar flowers, I do sell flowers, but very rare.
Mm.
Let's say for example, for flowers like this, I do sell, but mostly for very select or very minimum number of people.
Mm.
Kasi I don't want to compete with my students. Okay, I want
Mm. Yes.
earnings more to be on my students. So I had this one student before she was still baking. Now she's no longer baking. She focused on flowers. So I'm happy that the right now she can ship again, because before nung bago pa lang yung quarantine,
Mm.
the shipment is affected. So right now she can ship flowers again. So she made it into a business, and
Mm.
then that's her main source of income right now. So she's making a lot of different variants, different colors. She's also
Mm.
supplying in different baking supply stores. So
Mm.
for those of you who wanted to be connected to baking supply stores, I can help you on that. Let's say you don't have an idea on how to actually create a proposal as a supplier, I can
Mm.
help you with that. So don't be shy to message me.
Wow!
Ayun.
So meron ding gano'n, Mark will also help you build the proposal para dun sa mga suppliers. Yeah.
Gusto yung mag-supply sa
Oo.
beauty supply stores.
Oo. So, this is also an alternative source of income, 'di ba? Kasi yung mga students natin, they started from zero talaga. And then as they enroll
Mm.
in our classes, natuto na silang mag-bake ng cake,
Correct, correct.
mag-bake ng cake, frosting, and other baked goods like ensamadas, empanadas, yung mga ganon. Tapos yung meron namang iba na gusto nang mag-decorate ng cake. So, I guess this is one answer din dun sa tanong na how would you stand out, 'di ba? Sa
Correct,
ibang
correct.
competitors diyan sa area ninyo. Kasi yung sinasabi nila, marami nang gumagawa ng mga cakes dito, ang dami na nagbe-bake, ang dami na gumagawa ng ganitong kunwari ensamada, ganyan.
Correct.
So, yun. So, you have to think of another way naman to stand out doon sa area ninyo, 'di ba?
Correct,
So,
correct.
you can offer kasi since alam niyo na yung basic, then you can offer sa yung flowers naman, cake decorating, 'di ba?
Correct,
So,
correct.
kasi hindi lahat mape-perfect agad-agad yung craft na to. So, if you started early, then nauna na kayo sa market, then kayo yung tatatak doon sa utak ng mga tao na ay si ganito ang galing niya sa paggawa ng cakes with floral cakes, 'di ba? So yun. So mauna na kayo sa
Correct,
market.
correct.
So kapag yung mga nagtatanong, yun. So aside doon sa pag-bake ng cakes, paggawa ng cakes, then you can also supply sa mga baking supply stores, sabi nga ni Mark. So,
Correct, correct.
yun yung mga ginagawa ng mga students ni Mark. So, nagbebenta sila ng ready-made na. Kasi not everyone have the time na gumawa ng sarili nila. Kasi yung iba, kailangan lang isa or tatlo, yung mga ganun lang.
Correct.
'Di ba? So, parang sa kanila, time-consuming. Pero ikaw,
Mm.
if you can provide that, then bibili na lang ako sa iyo, 'di ba? Kasi ang
Correct,
ganda ng
correct.
gawa mo.
Tsaka, ano ba, I would just want to share in terms of the space usage. Let's say
Mm.
if you plan to mass produce flowers and you wanted to be a supplier of sugar flowers, in terms of the space, it's actually more efficient, I would
Mm.
say, kasi you no longer need, first of all, you won't need an oven, and then you
Mm.
will no longer need other materials also used in making cakes, diba?
Ayun, oo nga 'no.
So,
Di
and
kailangan
then,
ng oven.
yes, and then in terms of people, um, you can actually make, what do you call this? Like a system, like a train system wherein one people does only one thing so that the production is easier. So let's say if you have two or three people, that's already good for you to produce, let's say 500 flowers a week
Mm.
with just two to
Ay
three people.
yung isang recipe mo ng paste, marami ka ng magagawa nun, 'di ba?
Yes, correct, correct.
Oo.
But the the measurements of the recipes that I release with Bailiwick is
Mm.
actually very small quantities kasi my reason is for let's say you're just practicing,
Mm.
so you won't spend that much. Also,
Mm.
the recipes are actually very very cheap in terms of materials. But if you want to go on a higher scale, of course you can always double the recipe and it works just the same.
Yes. So madali na lang 'yan mag-multiply. So
Correct.
small quantity lang yung recipe na nabigay dun sa class, pero marami ka ng magagawa na
Yes.
na flowers out of that.
Correct.
'Di ba?
Correct.
Oo. 'Yun. Tapos nun, para dun sa iba, they consider flower making rin as therapeutic, 'di ba? So sa
Correct. Correct.
instead of baking, kasi same din yung sa baking eh. May mga students rin na nagsasabi sa akin na it helped them cope dun sa problems nila sa depression, tapos yung sa cancer nga, may mga ganun din sa sa baking. So ganun din dito sa flower making. Yan. So
Correct, correct.
if you have friends na who are experiencing na ganun, then maybe this could be for them then, 'di ba?
Correct.
To help them. Yun.
Yeah, correct,
So
correct.
um from our viewers who are watching today, you can type in your questions kapag meron kayong mga tanong kay Mark. If you want to ask him something about his life, mga ganyan, or
Yeah,
with his classes or with his vlogs, yan, don't be shy to comment below. Okay? Sabi nito ni Rachel, nice tip po, another way to make money from flower making. Yan.
yes, that can be
Yes.
your source of income also.
Oo. It can be your source of income also. Yung nga, sabi mo nga kanina, hindi na kailangan ng oven, no? So yung iba, mga nagre-reklamo, paano yan? Wala naman akong oven, ganyan. So, pero gusto kong kumita, 'di ba? So,
Yes,
ito
correct.
yung para sa iyo, 'di ba? Kasi hindi mo kailangan ng oven. At saka sobrang simple lang nung ano, procedure, at saka yung ingredients, baka nandiyan na nga lang sa pantry mo eh. It's just there. So, pwede ka na makagawa agad.
Oo.
Yun. Tapos, yung isa pa na na-amaze ako doon sa class mo is yung cutters. Kasi I used to hoard yung mga cutters ng mga flowers. tapos,
Yes,
nung,
yes,
tapos
yes.
nung nakita ko yung class mo, hindi naman pala kailangan. Grabe, isang cutter lang yun, di ba?
Yes, yes.
Yung
Only
ginamit
one cutter.
mo. Oo.
Mm.
Yun. So, parang, ano na gagawin ko dito sa mga ibang cutters na to? Isang
Um,
set lang pala yung kailangan.
correct, correct. Actually, that started talaga. Before, I used, actually until now, I have a lot of cutters. Let's say I have a specific
Mm.
cutter for each and every flower. And then, for those of you who wanted to order cutters or laners, can I promote?
Plug. Sige. Pang ilan
Ayun,
na yan?
so,
Sige
yeah,
lang.
I have so many plugins, my God. Ayun,
Oo.
so for those of you who wanted to, let's say, have specific cutters, although I'm teaching only using one cutter, the rationale behind, it's nice to have a lot of cutters and laners, but right now in my situation, um, I have so many that I'm
Mm.
not being able to use all of them. So that's why, and then for those who are starting, that's always the thing that I consider. Um, the beginners. I always consider the beginners' point of view.
Mm.
So in terms of the expense side for beginners, in terms of the space, the material for beginners, I always consider that. That's why I focused on developing techniques using only one set of cutter.
Mm.
Ayun, which is the rose petal cutter. But if you do want to use specific cutters for flowers, you may do so. So I get mine, and I had mine custom made from Emmanuel Villan. So
Mm.
yeah, you can check him out.
Naka-custom made
Ayun.
pa yan, yung sa'yo.
Yes, custom made. Yes, yes. I'll show you one. Wait. I'll show you. I actually had a new one. Kakagawa lang.
Pero doon sa
Ito.
class mo,
So,
lang siya,
I do believe
generic
this
lang.
will, ayan siya. Ayan. So, this is a begonia leaf.
Later.
So, ayan. Veiner. And then there's also a cutter for this one. Yan. From Emmanuel Villan. Ayun. Pin
Mm.
remote.
So yung
Ayun.
yung sa class mo, isang cutter lang talaga yon. Tapos nun, ito, yung pinakita mo is pina-customize mo na siya na veiner. Tama?
Yes, yes. Customized na. Yan. If ever
Mm.
you want to have customized stuff, ganun. Yan.
Oo. So pwede. Pwede,
Pwede.
pwede siyang kontakin.
Yes, yes. You can contact him.
Oo. Anong ulit name ni sir?
Emmanuel Villan.
Emmanuel Villan. Okay.
Oo.
So if you want to have customized veiners, yeah.
And cutters. Ayan.
Pati cutter.
Yeah, pati
Beginner,
cutter.
beginners and
Mm.
cutters. Yan.
Actually, but I do believe na yung rose petal cutter available din sa atin, ma'am, no, sa Bailiwick.
Ano, wala, out of stock.
Out of stock. Ayun, nagkaubos.
Oo. Oo, hindi pa ako makabili ngayon eh. Mahirap.
Actually,
Mahirap
ano,
bumili.
totoo, mahirap yung supplies these days. Super
Oo.
hirap.
Kaya yun, nagkaroon ako nun before, tapos nun, biglang naubos. Kasi mabilis lang pala siya. So, hindi ko naman nakalain na ganun pala siya kabilis maubos. Kaya yun, hindi pa ako nakaka-order ulit. Hindi pa ako nakakabalik. Yeah.
Mabilis,
Yun.
mabilis maubos talaga.
Oo. Yun. So, what is the best way to reach you? Through email, through PM ba sa Facebook? Or the best way to reach you, to contact you para dun sa mga
Ayun.
gusto mong magtanong?
Ayun, the best way that you can reach me, actually, I already maxed out Facebook kasi. So, I can no longer delete some friends kasi all of the friends, they're actually important kasi like from the plant, events, and then the industry.
Oo.
So, if you message me on my personal account, the problem is, if we're not friends, it will be on the spam. So sometimes I won't be able to see it. So if you want me to reply faster, I do reply way faster on my blog page. So I have a blog page on Facebook that's Marc Kevin Style.
Mm.
Ayun. So,
Natin yan. Ano to?
yes,
Marc Kevin Style.
sa Facebook. Yan. Kasi right there, if you message me right there, it's going to notify my phone right away. So, agad-agad. Yan. Marc Kevin Style.
Tama ba spelling ko? Marc Kevin Style. Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, style.
Ayan. So, for those of you who want to talk to Mark directly, yan, if you have any questions sa class niya, then you can message him dito sa Marc Kevin Style. Wag dun sa personal profile niya kasi napupunta nga sa spam. So, you
Yes,
reply faster dito. Tama.
yes, Marc Kevin Style.
Ano to, Facebook page? Facebook page mo.
Para siyang natatawa kasi ako sabihin eh. It's
Ano?
funny, but it's like a fan page. So,
Ayun nga,
yeah,
Facebook page.
fan
Fan
slash
page.
blog page.
Oo.
Ayun. So,
Yun. So, mas
mabilis ako
okay na
mag-reply
mabilis
dyan.
ka mag-reply dito. Yun.
Yes.
Tapos nun, yung YouTube channel mo is also Marc Kevin Style. Tama?
Yes, correct.
Oo. Yan. Follow niyo na siya, guys. Kasi yung sa mga tutorials niya sa YouTube channel niya, ang dami niyang videos doon, video tutorials about flowers. So if you're a student niya doon sa sa amin sa The Bailiwick Academy, meron kayong additional na matututunan doon sa YouTube channel niya. At saka meron kang group, 'di ba? Facebook group din na parang extension ng The Bailiwick Academy.
Yes, correct.
You just have to show proof na you're a
Mm.
student. You're a student of his class para i-accept doon sa group na yon.
Correct.
Anong name nung group ulit? Yung Fina Flora?
Yung group, Tina Flora. Actually, I posted the group before, kaso I think I will never post it again. So, the reason behind when I posted it, ang daming request. Pero when I checked, not all are students from Bailiwick. So,
Yan.
that's really exclusive for students kasi from Bailiwick. So, if you're not yet part of the group, please do message me so I can add you.
Okay. So, Mark will just approve yung mga students
Yes,
niya sa
correct.
Bailiwick. And yung iba dun sa mga hands-on classes niya before. Yan.
Correct.
Para you get to experience yung ibang mga tutorials niya. Kasi ang dami niya doon sinishare na mga flower tutorials. So aside doon sa na-avail ninyo doon sa class namin. Yun. So last na lang po. Ano po yung final advice na mabibigay mo doon sa mga students natin na medyo hesitant na na mag-enroll kasi medyo natatakot sila, feeling nila mahirap, yung mga ganun. So, sa mga first-timers, anong message mo? Advice?
For me, my advice, I believe nasabi ko na siya kanina,
Mm.
don't be scared, start now. Kasi if you
Mm.
will not start now, again, it will be just like a chain. You know,
Oh,
it's gonna days
mm,
and days until it's like month
oo.
already.
So,
So
importante talaga yung mag-take action kayo, di
need
ba?
to start and take action. Actually,
Oo.
that applies in a lot of things, eh.
Yes.
Mm.
Mm. So, hindi lang naman yun para dito sa class na to, but in your
Yes,
everyday life, you have to take action. So, if you want to if you want to get something talaga, then you have to do it now. You have to take action for you to reach your goals in life.
yes,
Diba?
yes, correct.
Mm. Yun. Tapos, ano pa? Oh, hello from Costa Rica. Oh, we
And
have a
hi, hi,
hi Flor.
Flor.
Yan. Yan.
And
Okay.
they are actually one of my students in Flores para El Mundo. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Because actually, if there is no quarantine, I should have had classes abroad. So because
Mm-mm.
of the quarantine, all the flights are canceled. So
Mm-mm.
all my schedules for classes are postponed then.
Mm-mm.
International.
Sayang. So,
Sayang.
pero next time, magkakaroon na ulit yan. Yan. So, Mark, invite mo naman sila dun sa class mo. Please invite them to your class in the Bailiwick Academy.
Yes.
Uh, so this is one of the flowers that is featured in the class. So this is a sunflower, and the other one is a peony.
Yeah, that's a peony flower.
Mhm.
So guys, I'm inviting you all to actually join now and enroll. Don't hesitate. The bouquet that you're seeing, that's actually part of the class. So there are 12 different flowers. I'm also teaching the coloring technique, the dusting technique. I'm also teaching on the class the alternatives. And believe it or not, all these flowers on the bouquet that you see now is just made with only one cutter. Yes, it's only made
Mhm.
with only one set of cutters. So if you wanted to learn that, don't forget and don't hesitate to start now. Just like what I shared earlier. Start now.
Oo.
Start today.
Yes. So, alam nyo na ang gagawin niya. You already know what to do. Is enroll in our classes. Okay?
Yes,
Especially
yes.
dito sa, if you're planning to sell flowers or supply to baking supply stores, then this is a good option for you. Yan.
Yes, yes.
Tapos yun nga, doon ako na-amaze doon sa isang cutter lang to para sa lahat ng flowers na to.
Yes, that's only one cutter. Actually, even this
Oo.
one, this pini, actually, this is just the same with the pini on the class.
Mm-mm.
The only difference is this one, I added more petals. So if you want to
Mm-mm.
achieve the same look, it's really, really the same technique. Just add
Mm-mm.
more petals. And then,
Mm-mm.
yeah, this is made with Gluma paste. So
May price ka doon? Can you give them the costing or the price for that flower if ever they're going to sell it?
if you're going to sell a flower like this detailed, my selling price for this one is 500 pesos, one stem.
Hmm. So, malaki naman na siya, no?
Yes,
500
it's
pesos.
big and it's very detailed. But let's say, for example, you want to sell something a little bit cheaper, you can actually reduce the petals. There is a technique on how you can make it look fuller, even if you're using lesser petals.
Mm-hmm. Yun. So, thank you guys. Wala na kayong ibang questions yan. So, if you have questions pa kay Mark after this podcast, then you can message him do sa Mark Kevin style. Okay? And then, if you want to enroll in our classes, um, Here's the link to enroll. That's www.thebailiwickacademy.com. So, punta lang kayo doon. Then there's a cake decorating category. Then you will find Marc Kevin's Art of Edible Flowers in our website, on our website. And it cost 4,000 pesos. Yun. Mura na yun, guys, kasi ang daming flowers, sobrang sulit nung class. So, maraming nagsasabi sa mga students namin na sobrang sulit yung class kasi ang dami nilang natutunan dun sa class na yun kasi ang daming flowers, daming techniques. So,
Yes.
yun. Diba? Ayun. Thank you so much, Mark, for being with us today sa podcast namin, sa live podcast.
Thank you. Thank you, Ben.
And thank you so much for your time. And I hope marami kayo natutunan ngayon from Mark. After hearing all the experience ni Mark, sana na-inspire kayo na gumawa ng mga flowers, ng mga sugar flowers din. And make it as your business too in the future. Diba? Yan. Thank you so much, Mark, for your time. Thank you, everyone. And
Thank you, everyone.
just saying good night now. Bye-bye.
Bye.